It will cost money. They will pass that money on to consumers.
How can we be in denial still? Thankfully, those high prices will help break us of our evil capitalist habits. Quote, we can't drive our SUVs, and eat as much as we want and keep our homes on, 72 degrees all the time, whether we're living in the desert or living in the tundra, and then just expect every other country's going to say, okay. Let me tell you something. My studio here is set at 65 degrees right now. If I could get it to 40, I would. And you know what? I don't really care if it hurts the feelings of some Frenchy Frenchman. Boo-hoo, cry me a river. I'm going to go on living my life the way I choose to live it. And if that includes 18 hours of TV and Doritos, that's my choice, baby. Or is it?
Barack Obama will require you to work. Barack will never allow you to go back to your lives as usual. Uninvolved, uninformed.
She goes on to say, he will force you to be engaged. Well, we were promised this over and over again. Over and over, the fundamental transformation of America was coming, named change.
5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
This man, we have been screaming for a man who would tell us the truth. And then
from fundamental
of America was coming, named change.
5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. From fundamentally transforming the United States of America. 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
This man, we have been screaming for a man who would tell us the truth. And then when somebody tells us exactly what he believes in plain English, we refuse to listen to him. Nobody took this man at his word. The question is, when will you begin? How much more evidence do you need before you wake up and go, wait a minute, hang on, what's he doing? Michelle Malkin writes about it in her new book, Culture of Corruption, Obama and his tax cheats, crooks, and cronies. Michelle, welcome to the program.
Glad to be back.
It is amazing to me how it is relatively easy to unravel. Once you know what's going on, oh my gosh, the thread just starts to come out. You write about it in Acorn, about Acorn. What are the 2 chapters on Acorn in your book, right?
And the SEIU, right?
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the idea and the philosophy of being a community organizer and remaking America. What does that mean to Barack Obama?
Well, you did a fabulous job of laying out on a theoretical level what the agenda is in terms of transformation. But in order to implement that transformation, of course, you need a civilian corps and you need a brigade of foot soldiers implanted in neighborhoods across the city who are at the beck and call of Team Obama to, whether it's shaking down banks, forming a housing entitlement mob, fostering voter fraud and census shenanigans. You need the bodies.
All right, and even SEIU, here's this union that most people don't even know what that union even does, and they're the ones leading the way on healthcare.
That's absolutely right. What you've got is a union that has remade itself in the 21st century to recruit the next generation of Democrat and hard left foot soldiers. Mm-hmm. And of course these two, as you've documented and I've documented in the book and on my blogs, those 2 organizations, Acorn and the SEIU, are intimately and inextricably linked. And because there's so much union dues money and taxpayer dues money involved, it behooves the watchdogs in Congress to take a look at what exactly is going on.
I have to tell you, Michelle, I said on my radio show yesterday, you just use watchdogs in Congress. They're not watchdogs anymore. They're not watchdogs anymore. They're really not. It falls to the people. It always has fallen to the people. But I said, between the radio audience and the TV audience, I got about 10 million guard dogs. We need people who understand the Constitution and understand this theory of remaking America, the fundamental transformation, to stand guard and watch them every step of the way. Guard and bark and growl and do whatever you have to do, because these people are hijacking our country.
No question about it. That's what compelled me to write the book as a watchdog, and I think that by doing our jobs, we're modeling what should be done. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And for people who think that it's completely hopeless and you can't hold, for example, the shadow government accountable, well, Steve Rattner is no longer the AutoCzar. And if you can get rid of one, you can get rid of 44. But it takes understanding the Chicago way, it takes understanding these relationships, and it takes recognizing the fact that there are whistleblowers in these organizations, at Acorn and at the SEIU. These are not conservatives, or they weren't conservative until they had buyer's remorse and did wake up. It means, you know, taking them at their word, taking in the information they have. They're circumventing the mainstream media to
How important is it, do you think? Because I've met with some of the Acorn whistleblowers. I think they're some of the bravest people in the world.
So
because they're not media savvy. They know that they're taking on a powerful organization that understands the destructive politics, and they're just willing to do it because it's right. And it goes against their agenda, what people would perceive as their agenda. It goes against their people, their party, etc., etc. What do you think when you look at these organizations? Do you think that it makes any difference if you take down Acorn? Because I think it is so vast, these organizations, and it's a shell game. They just move people from here and rename it here and move it over there. You really have to go to the heart of it, do you not?
It does matter if you take it down, and you need congressional oversight to crack open the books. I dedicated the book to the whistleblowers, and one of the whistleblowers I talk about is now being sued by Project Vote and Acorn. Anita Moncrief. This is somebody who is just an individual. She's not a part of any group that's trying to reform Acorn in its own image for its own power grab. She's out there alone, and people ask what they can do. Support people like that who are trying to get the information out there, because they understand the nature of the racket, that it is a criminal enterprise. And you're seeing more, at least on the Republican side, people understanding that. The House Oversight Committee Republicans came out with this report, and it only scratches the surface.
Oh, it does.
It's not just the financial industry, it's not just housing. You know, it's the fact that these people are joined at the hip with Democrat organizations to ensure a power grab in perpetuity. Okay.
Michelle, thank you very much. America, I have to tell you, and I have no reason to say this because this book is going to knock mine off the #1 slot. This is important. I don't read other people's books when it comes to their political thoughts, etc., etc. I just don't read them. This one is worth reading. You should read it. It really exposes a lot of the stuff that we talk about here, and it's important that you understand those things. Michelle, thank you very much.
Thanks, Glenn.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Social justice, green jobs, hand in hand. What's the problem? A big problem. I'll show it to you next.